into that. Okay. Let's just go and record my stuff for video. Hi, and thanks for joining us on Away From It All TV. I'm thirsty for some coffee. You see the mug, yes? It says World's Greatest Papa. Congratulations to Jeremy on a brand new baby and their family, my granddaughter Violet Rose Yarborough. I'm very, very thrilled and happy to welcome her into the world. Congratulations, my son. Way to go. They make pretty babies, I'll tell you. What we're going to do today is we're going to do an EDC pocket dump. What do we carry every day?
A lot of people have what you could call a truck bag, or a go bag, or a ready bag.
Or get home bag.
Yeah, a get home bag, and essentially it's just a bag that people carry with them wherever they go in their vehicle. But what happens when you take a ride with someone else that morning? You know, what happens if maybe your car's the one that exploded in the parking lot? You know, you never know what could have happened.
You never know.
That keeps you from being able to have all this gear that so many people are dependent on having. They just know, yeah, no matter where I go, you know, I got a gun, or I have this knife, or my containers, and everything's right in my go bag, you know, so I'm good, I can get home. Well, what happens if you get separated from your go bag? You're already spending the majority of your day separated from your bag. So most of the time when people do end up in a survival situation, they end up in that situation with whatever's on their person.
That's exactly right.
They don't get a chance to go run back to some headquarters or hub or meeting point and grab all their gear and then go. That's kind of more of a fantasy. It'd be nice if it always worked out that way, but it doesn't always work out that way.
That's true.
And most of the time you're left with whatever's in your pocket.
That's true. So let's clear all this stuff off and show them exactly what we have on our person, in our pockets, everyday carry. The first thing Jeremy and I want to do is default our survival knives, because we carry these with us a lot, but not necessarily every day. And today we're doing only what we actually carry every day.
Now, I do recommend carrying your survival knife with you at all times possible.
Right.
If you're going to the airport, that's not going to be possible. But if you're just going to be, you know, an hour away going to the city or something like that, you can have this with you and carry it into the grocery stores or wherever it may be.
If it's legal in your city.
If it's legal in your city, because it's very important that if you are in a survival situation that you would have your survival knife with you, although sometimes that's just not manageable. So in that case, you can have other things. Sometimes, not necessarily an airport, but you know, usually you can carry a pocket knife with you wherever you're at. So now, one thing I do want to mention about the pocket knife, I used to carry around the assisted open knives. I don't think it's a problem if people do carry around the assisted open knives, and a lot of them have little locks now where you can lock it while it's in your pocket. But me working manual labor and doing different various tasks that I've been doing, especially more recently, I've had my self-assisted knives come open inside my pocket.
Ooh, that's not
so many times. I'm like, oh, what's that? And reach in my pocket and my knife is just sitting there open like this inside my pocket. Wow. So I've actually stopped carrying my assisted open. I just got this little cheapo knife, and it's held up really well. I've had to sharpen it more times than I would like to have to sharpen a knife, but it's been pretty good. It's not bad.
I still carry an assisted opening knife, and I like the Tonto blade. I really don't like serrated edges. They're okay, but I prefer a straight edge. It just is what it is of what I carry every day. In addition to a pocket knife of some sort, I also carry a multi-tool, and this one has pliers and scissors and a file and a saw blade. I got to tell you, the back side of the saw blade on this multi-tool just tears up a ferro rod. It makes that thing like lightning. It's amazing. So, and I really like the ones that have scissors on them. This one has a great pair of scissors I just personally find that I use scissors for a lot of different things, so a multi-tool is in my pocket.
It is, and I got one in my pocket too. Now the one that I would recommend people carry is a multi-tool that locks. Now the multi-tool I usually carry, I've set aside for this demonstration to show you that there are smaller options. A lot of people look at those and they're like, man, I don't want to carry that big bulky thing. Well, having something is better than having nothing.
That's right.
So get you something smaller that you can carry. This doesn't lock. Now I really don't like that, but in a survival situation it's better to have something than have nothing. So if that's my option, then I would rather have this. However, if I'm comfortable with carrying something a little bit bigger, a little bit more bulky, then I'm going to have something where all the blades lock on it, especially the saw blade, because you can use that for a ferro rod. Where this saw blade, you know, you can't really use that for a ferro rod because right as you go to strike it, the thing closes over on your hand, and it's just not a pretty picture. So I recommend a locking multi-tool.
And this saw blade does lock. See, it won't come back. So I do like a lot. Every tool on this multi-tool locks. So I like that.
That's nice.
I carry a little pack of cordage. This is spun Kevlar. It's like 200-pound tensile strength. There's 25 feet of it. It's very small. It's not a lot of cordage. It's not optimal cordage, but as Jeremy said, it's something. And it's real small. You can put it in your pocket every day. You got 25 feet. You get in a tight place. It will help you string up some kind of support structure or shelter. I suppose you could stop bleeding with this. You could try to make a bow drill fire out of this. There's a lot of things you can do with cordage, and it's very difficult to reproduce in the wild. So again, something's better than nothing.
Yeah, it is. Another thing that I always have on me is a lighter, and I usually have one that's bright enough to see if I drop it somewhere.
Right.
White, orange, something you can see. Fire is irreplaceable.
That's right.
And it's really nice to be able to press a button in order to get it.
I'll show you what I did. I actually added some, you can't hardly see this because it's similar in the color, but this is yellow light reflective tape on the top and on the bottom on both sides. So if I drop this and it's dark, I can hit it with my light, and that reflective light just lights up with about 700 lumens, it looks like. So again, identifying and having that fire is very important. Something I carry, speaking about fire, is I carry a ferrocerium rod. Now I have this on my person everywhere I go, no matter what. And I know you're looking at, that's a ferro rod? Yeah, it's square. Isn't that cool? Because when you hit this thing, you have all 3/8 inch of the flush surface of the ferro rod against your striker, and it gives you a lot more sparks per drive with the striking mechanism. So I love this square ferro rod.
Yeah, I have the same one, and we'll be doing a small review. It may only be like a minute-long episode later on, but my doubts on this is that you'll be able to keep the blade or the edge, the spine of your knife or whatever your striking mechanism is, completely flush with that flat surface. It may be that the rounded ones are better, but we'll be doing a review. But yes, I carry a ferro rod with me everywhere I go as well. If you have your survival knife, you should have your ferro rod with that survival knife. If not, you can have a blank rod in your pocket.
Right. Something I carry a lot of people don't is I carry an ink pen and something to write with. You never know when you may need to leave a note, draw something out, write a message, take a note for yourself, a little personal journal entry, a diary.
It's great for navigation.
It's great for navigation. If you're using a compass, you have to write down your pacing and all that, and we'll talk about those issues in future videos.
That's right. I carry a Fresnel lens with me. It's a magnifying glass in your pocket, in your wallet, ready-made solar fire right there. All you got to do is find the tinder. So that's something that's almost irreplaceable, is having a solar fire mechanism.
And these are 5-power Fresnel lenses. You don't really find those everywhere. We ordered these offline special. You can get 2 and 3 power anywhere. It's a lot easier to start a fire with a 5-power lens than it is a 2 or 3.
That's so true. Another thing that I carry is a knife sharpener. It's in my pocket all the time. I have one that you can use to sharpen the serrated edges. Then I have this is just your average default, you know, on your degrees there. But you know, it comes in handy if you're somewhere and you got lost longer. I've sharpened this knife more times with this sharpener than I can count. And if you're lost or you get in a survival situation and your knife becomes dull because you've been there longer than you planned, it's nice to be able to sharpen your knife. So having a little sharpener like that doesn't hurt anything.
Something I carry too in conjunction with the Fresnel lens is I have a very small Ziploc bag, and if you wonder where to get these, you can get these at the drugstore or any department store that sells has a pharmacy, because these are pharmaceutical pill pouches, And I've got in here 2 or 3 pieces of char cloth. You put that with the Fresnel lens, you've got an instant ember that you put both those things in your wallet, you don't even know they're there.
I have the same thing.
Very good. All right. Something else that I have, and I have this on my keychain because I always have my keys with me, I have a little tiny flashlight, and this thing really does fairly well. You can see the brightness of that light there. It's not as bright as I'd like to have it, but a lot of times in a survival situation, at least the ones that I imagine, I'm not going to want to be blazing my light through the woods so people can see me. You might find yourself in a survival situation where you want to stay hidden, and that little small flashlight will give you just enough light to see what you're doing, especially up close, but not enough to be so highly visible a long ways off.
Yeah, I also have my own flashlight, and I love that. Another thing that I carry is a little multi-tool that goes on my keychain. And I keep my flashlight and my little multi-tool on a separate ring, so I can separate those out and not be working with tools with all the extra, you know, cumbersome keys everywhere. But this little multi-tool on here, it's got a Phillips head, it's got a flat head, it's got a little pry bar, a little nail puller, it's got a little can opener. It's just got several little things on there that I've actually found useful on a day-to-day basis. I've been sitting in my truck and messing with something. I think, man, I wish I had a Phillips head screwdriver on me, and then I'm like, wait a minute, I do, you know. So it's I use it all the time. I use it way more often than I ever thought I would, and not just for survival stuff, just for everyday stuff.
Now, something I also carry is I carry every day a firearm and an extra mag, at least one. If I'm going to a place I think is dangerous, I'll carry 2. And I carry that firearm and that extra mag everywhere I go. And I won't elaborate on that, but I carry it everywhere I go, unless I'm on an airplane or somewhere that's just you're going to get in federal trouble. I don't really pay much attention to people's little signs. I carry that on me. They can do what they want. So.
Well, thanks for joining us here on Away From It All TV to see what we're carrying every day. You know, EDC is constantly evolving for everyone.
That's right.
These are some things that are really important to us. You can always jump online and see hundreds of different EDC videos and what other people are carrying every day.
That's right, and we're not saying that you have to carry these items on your person every day. We just thought we'd let you know what we carry most of the time, on average, on a daily basis. So hey, get out there, take somebody with you.
Get away from it all, where dreams are restored in the great outdoors. I knew it.
All right, here's where I stand. I think there's your
All right, so that's perfectly in the middle.
perfectly. Yeah, perfect.
Perfectly in the middle.
Ah. Oh, let's just do this thing. Ready? Mm-hmm. Hi, thanks for joining us.
Well, let me know. Are you ready? I'm looking at you as you say hi. All right, now I'm ready.
That was good. I just got to have this thing around my feet the whole time.
I was wondering. It's like, are we really going to be playing the dancing game with the bag? Well, thanks for joining us on Away From It All TV. What? Airplane. Oh, it's going to be airplane. We spend more time waiting on airplanes than we do filming anything.